Everyone, welcome. Today we have on Lori R. Taylor. And as we were just talking about before the call, she has been on the Forbes list of the top 50 social media power influencers for 2 years now. I don't know if they recently came out with rankings or so, but hey, she's got it 2 years in a row so far. She's been on a few other lists. She's pretty well known for blogging over at Social Caffeine, and she doesn't have a product to sell. She's not pushing a product. She does more consulting and social media management work, and this is something we want to kind of talk to her about because we normally talk about content marketing in direct relationship to products, software, and other things. She more so does it for authority, and she does it a lot for her clients. So Lori, thank you a lot for coming on today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
And now, so we kind of have this little breakdown here, and the problem that a lot of people have, where they're hurting when it comes to social media and content marketing is that it takes a lot of time. Most of these people don't know where to start or what to do to get, good results. There's not really much step-by-step guides out there, and I would say the ones that are very basic, and especially with social media marketing, it can be very hard to measure the ROI. So when you guys get new clients, what is kind of your process? Where do you take them from where they were to social caffeinated?
The first thing we do is we tell them they're not going to get any ROI. And I laugh and say that, but I say that, I start there, and our eyes get really big. And then I say, let's focus on the COI, which is the cost of inaction first. And let's talk about that. And we focus on what would happen if they didn't do it. And and that's important, right? Because I think I really want people to buy into it. And I think too many times clients come in the door, and I can remember a meeting with the guy at Procter & Gamble in the Charmin brand, and he said something to me. He's like, well, we want a campaign that's going to go viral. And I remember looking at him and being like, oh, yeah, I'd like to make off Brad Pitt, and I'm hoping that George Clooney gives me a penny tonight, and I'm looking at him, I'm like, okay, and it's kind of came out where I came at my first set, just came out of my mouth, I was like, hey, going viral is not an outcome, it's a happening. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. So what I find with my clients, the first thing I do is level set their expectations, and how I do that is I get really, and when you hear me talk about this, for those of you who aren't going to have clients, God bless you, you're just trying to build your own business, hear this for yourself. Be your own lawyer for a minute, right? Even though everyone says you shouldn't, if you decide to, you need to do it right, and you need to be methodical. So what I tell people I start with is finding out, number one, where they're at right now. Most people that come to me, have tried, dabbled in, done something with social media. They haven't messed it up too much for the most part. Some of them have. That's why you have to be careful. But for the most part, I go through exactly what they have right now. We do what's called a social media audit. I'm actually having an assessment for that, so I could probably give that to you at the end so people could use it. It was actually premiered at Convince and Convert at Jay Bayer's blog a couple years ago. But it's just a real simple way of going through what's happening right now with your information, where your people at, and what kind of content's out there that you're putting out there. And then even more importantly is what is your competition doing? And that's the second part that we go through. Once we get a good assessment of who you are, who you think your customer is, your unique selling proposition, and all that, we focus solely on you. We say, okay, great. How's that working out for you? And usually it's not good. It's not working for them social media. So we say, let's go find out who are your competitors that you admire, and gosh, you wish you had their budget and their brains and what they're doing. And most of the time people can say, here's 2 or 3 people. The people that scare me are the people that say we don't have any competitors. Because then I'm like, well, then maybe that's why maybe you don't have the right product out there, or you're not talking to the right people. But most people today have competitors, and we go to them, and even if you're into social media, you can go look at the best of the best. Say, hey, what are these people doing? And take a look at those people, and actually go using some tools, analyze how they're doing, what they're doing, where their links are coming from, where their content's going, and then wrap this piece up. Then I go from the competitive analysis there, focus on that. Then I look at the B players, because sometimes for some clients, they just can't imagine. Microsoft's their competition, right? They can't compete against Microsoft. So it's like, tell me who the local guy is. Like, let's dig it down a couple notches, which we do. So we have an A list and a B list of people we'd like to be like. And so we go through that, and there's a lot of fun things you can do, finding out what your competitors are doing and finding out where the gaps are in what they're doing, and where you kind of need to complement them by borrowing kind of their approach and making it work for your audience and creating that conversation.
And that's a big part of anything. Find out what's working first in the market, and then go with that. And I really like that point on kind of finding gaps and complementing what they're doing.
Like a lot of times here's the biggest thing is most people, and we know this, right, because we've heard it so many times, but sometimes we assume everyone's heard the things we've heard, and that's your mistake. You are not your customer. I'm not my customer. My customer doesn't know how to do social media marketing. I'm not the customer. So I assume sometimes, and I have to be careful not to talk over someone's head because I don't need to do it. I just don't want to also talk down to them because that'd be worse, like trying to explain something that they already know how to do. So it's really finding out that skill, like what you have, and being honest with yourself. What are you really good at? You know, if you're rocking Twitter, and you're not getting sales, but you're rocking it from engagement and stuff, you know, I would say, let's start with Twitter. Let's get better at something you're already really good at. Someone's not doing good on YouTube, there's probably because A, they don't want to be on camera, so they don't want to do their own little things, and B, they don't know how to work the technology. But they know, I got to be on YouTube. I got to be. Why? If you're doing good over here on Facebook, you're doing good on Twitter, do you have to be on YouTube? If you can't sustain it. You know, Tony Robbins, a big personal development person, he says in your relationships, people leave his seminars and they're going to fix this, and this. And he said the quality of your life is in a direct proportion of which you can tolerate uncertainty in your life. So you have to have a certain level of uncertainty, but your life can't be where it's exciting, you have some connections, but it can't be crazy. So you can't push your envelope so much and start going, hey, I can't even get my Facebook to work, but I'm going to go over and rock YouTube. It's not feasible for most people. So I always say, let's pick the one platform you're good at, even if you're not good at it, but it's the best one for you. Tell me why you're good at it, tell me why you like it, and then let's pick one other platform that you can do well. But let's don't try and tackle Pinterest and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all this on an extremely limited budget. It just makes no sense at all. And
you're stretching yourself too thin, and you're not strong enough at any one point. You're not going deep enough. You're not going to have any impact at all.
None. You have none, and then you just feel like you're not good at it. But I was like, look, just pick. And if I really had my druthers, which most people won't let me do, by the way, they just think more is better, I would pick one. I could probably get the people the most results if we just said, which one are we going to crush? Even if it's YouTube, you know, then let's crush it. Let's figure out how could you make a minute video? How could you just focus on it, on the things, and 3 things, not 30. There's 100 million things you can do at YouTube, literally. It's just, there really are. You could, but what's the thing you could do that could be your shtick, that could be your brand logo, but it's a way you put the content out, because people forget that too. Like, we do it for one of our clients where it looks the same every time. We put a picture up and we put his logo over here, and even though we put the messages are different, people have learned to see when this picture comes up with this weird font, we did it for a reason. They start to think, can't clothier, oh, that's Kent, and they're going to look at it because they like it, you know, and that's what we do. And I think that's what your visuals, I tell people they need to have a brand look, whether it's black and white, whether it's you always do pink and black. I don't care what the one thing is you always do. You have to do that so it creates some sort of, it catches people's eyes on the timelines, if you're lucky enough to be on someone's timeline. You know?
Definitely. I'm curious, do you ever try to see, kind of analysis as far as where the customers are and the demographic are social network-wise, and then try to focus more of their time there?
Yeah, that's, you know what, I should start with that. Yes. So, yeah, good point. Yes, we definitely focus. The most important thing to me is not your brand. It's not even your product or your price or your service. My first important thing is, who is your customer? And if you don't have a customer yet, then that becomes more difficult, because you have to, if I said to you, and let's be reasonable for a minute, if I said to you, okay, someone you love is, I'm going to be extreme, dying of cancer, okay, and you need $10,000 will save their life, and you have 2 options. One, you can go in with this amazing widget, and you can take it into a group of people. There's going to be 1,000 people in this auditorium, and you can sell it to them. Or I'm going to give you a group of 1,000 like-minded people who want this 1, 2, 3, or 4 things. They love real estate, and they're in the real estate audience, and they are in this group auditorium. Are you going to walk in there with some random QVC widget, or are you going to walk in there with a real estate product or something that you believe a realtor could have? And that is the most important thing. You have to know who your audience is and who you're supposed to be talking to. You have to know, is it a woman? Is it a man? How old are they? You have to know, do they have dogs? I mean, honestly, these are things that you can know. And you know what? You're thinking, well, how would I know all that? I mean, I barely know how old they are. That's not true. You can do so many things on Facebook to go look, and even MySpace, because it's kind of open platform, but you can go on there to create your own personas. So when you figure out, what your person looks like, guess what you should be doing? What does a 50-year-old woman from Ohio look like? Not me. Okay, I'm not 50. But so what does a woman look like and that has dogs? Guess what? Well, you can go on Facebook and you can start figuring that out. You can use the graph search. You can do things like that on Facebook to go find out what does she look like, because what does she care about other than being 50 and living in Ohio and having a dog. And you'll see, like, here's the book she seems to like, and oh, what a trend. I went and found 10 people who look the same, and they all seem to like the same type of movies. You'll see the trends for yourself, and I know it sounds a little haphazard, but when you're starting up and you're just one person in your house with an idea or something like that, that's how you do it. That's how you get sneaky. Yeah. Google your topic at Amazon. And go find the books about. So if you want to sell a cooking product, okay, raw product and cooking book, you can put that in there, and guess what you should be reading? The reviews. That's all you care about is the reviews. You can look at the table of contents if the reviews or whatever, and figure out from the table of contents you can get a lot of great headlines for blog posts. You can get a lot of great, content from people. Sorry, my phone rang. Sorry about that. But you can get a lot of great. That's how I get some great headlines. Is going to Amazon and looking at books around the subject I'd like to talk about. But reading those Amazon reviews and going on forums and reading what people are talking about the problem you're trying to solve, because other than the audience, what's the second most important problem? Then you have to figure out what problem they need solved. What does 1,000 realtors in Cincinnati, Ohio care about? Probably real estate in Cincinnati, Ohio. Probably real estate in Ohio. Not that you can't convince them they should be branching out to other states, but you got to solve their immediate problem, something they believe they can do, and then expand their mind. And that's the same thing you have to do in social media with your customers. I mean, anything.
That was a really good point. That's an interesting thing. I've never approached it in that manner. When you are trying to solve problems for customers, go to Amazon, read the reviews of books and things related to your market, to your niche, and find out what people are actually saying.
And especially a low-rated product. Like if something has a lot of reviews and 3 stars, go there. Because you know what? People are like, I read this, and it wasn't near as good as blah, 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 because she really goes into how to da-da-da-da-da. And then you start to see what books they do like, because they reference them right away, and then what they're missing. And it's like, you can go to the 5-star reviews because you should. What is it? What words are they using to say that they like that? If they're saying those are the most delicious, scrumptious recipes I've ever had, and I love the barbecue shrimp the most, and you see barbecue shrimp in 6 out of 10 reviews, hey, who else wants to make the best barbecue shrimp in the world that's good, scrumptious and delicious, and have everyone high five? And use the words, because those are your avatars. Those are the people who have bought. They have used your wallet to vote. So I don't love surveys. It's not a wallet vote. Mm-hmm. It's not a wallet vote. And, nothing's more important than a wallet vote. And Amazon's usually, not always, but usually it's a wallet vote. And those are the most important votes. Nothing else to me. I don't care about your survey. I care about your wallet, vote more than anything. So
that kind of brings up an interesting point, something I thought about when you were kind of mentioning that in the customer demographic. I would say that not that you can ever predict viral, but if you are drilled in your customer demographic, that's why sometime where you see some of these blog posts like 7 things you can learn about business from Harry Potter, or 7 things that Game of Thrones taught us about social media, I would say that's when they're really tapped into their customer demographic, and they're saying, okay, our customer demographic loves Harry Potter, loves Game of Thrones, or loves, one of these, popular books or movies. How can we tie this into our business so then we can kind of get them talking about it, and you're going to instantly probably grab their attention too.
Yeah, and it helps with SEO, especially like Game of Thrones is hot. House of Cards there was really hot. So if your audience is someone that's going to watch Netflix, is digitally savvy, and, kind of although older people do watch Netflix, but, it's a little bit younger of a demographic, that's a really great one to work with. And I use that at my blog, when J-Lo was on American Idol, tying in current events to your message is awesome. I just, being personal, for an example, I think you were asking me off the record, like, how I come up with content ideas. Well, one of the best things I do is I subscribe to other people's stuff. I mean, like, I love my swipe files, and I love an email that gets me, and I don't put them all in a swipe file. Like, don't let them all go into my same later box, my email management system. I come in there because I want to see who catches my attention. And the other day, someone's attention is like, I just can't get out of bed. And I thought, well, I just have, it was his message. It was like, do I know this person? And I read it, and he was talking about his dad died. And it was beautiful. It wasn't too personal. It was kind of something I could relate to if anyone had a dad or you loved your dad. And I mean, I can tear up now thinking about this email. It was so well done, and at the end, it was talking about what's important in life and where you should really prioritize your business as it relates to being personal. And I'm actually going to I sent him back email, and he sells a product, but he didn't talk about his product. He was just he was sharing something with his audience, and didn't mention his product at all in this particular email, and it wasn't a waste of my time because it was meaningful and it was well done, and it was a personal development guy. And so then I took the email, and I'm putting it at my blog, and I'm writing a blog post as when is an email to TMI, just right. So it's like, what would Goldilocks say about this email? Is it, is this right, just too cold, too hot, whatever, or is it just perfect? And for me, it was just perfect, but that's something I'll write, and because I write more normal headlines, like, 3 ways to do this, it'll get big. People, they're going to read it, right? Now, if I did it all the time, it kind of loses its wow factor, right? So you kind of have to put it in there in the right mix to where it's like, I really want people to read that article. Of all the articles I wrote in the last couple of months, I hope people read that article, because for me, it's the part people miss the most, is putting your heart into your business, because I think business is personal. Anyone that says differently, I don't even want to work with them. So, I mean, it was like,
I know that's been a big part of the web, and something we've seen time and time again is these more authentic personalities really start to shine. I know on our blog, it's something that we try to do, and we try to stand by, is being more just I don't know, real and true, and like, hey, this is where we spent money and made money, this is where we lost money. Like, I know we have a boosted post case study coming out soon, and we'd heard from everyone that boosted posts didn't work, but we hadn't done it, so we had to spend $120 and lose it just to say, hey guys, this doesn't work, and here's us putting our money where our mouth is.
But see, people respect that. Say, I believe it eventually catches up to you, and the web's making us more transparent. And that for those of us who use our powers for good, which most people do, by the way, most people do the best they can with the resources they have. But it's like one of those things where if you really try to be everything to everybody, you become vanilla, and you become. And then if you try to become too extreme, and that's fine. If that's your personality, like if you're an extreme person and that's who you are, and I met you offline, you could sustain that, then it'll always be true, because it's how you talk. But voice is the most important thing that you have to have. It's got to be your voice, your message. It's got to be something that's important to you for you to be successful. I'm not saying you can't have a business and not be authentic. A lot of people do. But I'm just asking if you really want to spend 40, 50, 60 hours a week doing something you don't love and pretending to be someone you're not. I mean, and it's so easy to do online. That's what drives me crazy. Have you ever, I'm not going to name names, but I have met people who I was like, I love this person. I meet him, I'm like, there's no way he's writing his own stuff. I mean, literally, that's what I think. There's no way he's writing his own stuff, because he's not funny, he's not witty, she's not whatever. And it's like, I just think people wanted, what you see is what you get. That's what people expect, and I think people appreciate it. At the end of the day, I would rather have 1,000 enthusiastic people that love me, love what I have to say, believe in me, and trust me. That's so important to me, that they trust me. So you can't even buy services from me on my blog. You can't even go try to buy a consultation from me. You can't. People are coaching me to change that, because I do think I can help people, but I haven't yet. Because part of me loves being like, hey, this is free stuff. I can say what I want. You don't like it, you don't have to read it. I don't have much of a commit. It's like, this is my blog. It says Lori R. Taylor. If you don't like it here, you don't have to come here. And that's my personality. That is what you see is what you get. You bet. I mean, this is how I am. And so it works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. And I think when people try to be eccentric when they're not, it just falls flat. And and I love the how-to people out there. I love the how-to people out there that really focus on that and really stay true to that. I really like those people. I'm not suggesting you have to be crazy and outlandish and be the next Gary V doing whatever. I'm just saying, be who you are, and you will find people love you and support you. I mean, honestly, and because they trust you. I think that's what it comes down to. They trust you.
Yeah, and if you're not being authentic, you can't really build that trust, because people can kind of feel that there's some sort of shield between you and your personality that you're not quite letting on. I think with podcasts, and even something like this, for example, it can be a big thing. And in the podcasts you find yourself liking are the ones where they're kind of laughing and joking, and you feel like I always describe it as like I would say the goal, I think, of a podcast. It depends on the format, of course, you know, if you're doing more news, but it's like I'm driving in my car and there's two people in the back seat having a conversation. You know, it's not
Yes.
like I'm almost in the room with them, and I just feel like I'm kind of laughing along with them, and it's just they're talking as they would normally. But
No,
I want to take a second because, you know, we went into voice a lot here, and I do want to continue on content creation, but I know that
sorry,
you
yeah.
mentioned two good tools to analyze your competitors and kind of find out a little bit more about them and what they're doing with their social networks. So I just wanted to kind of bring those up really quick before.
Yeah, so two tools that, well, there's three really, but, well, there's a million. I mean, but the tools that I think that people would like the most is, so most people are on Facebook. So when you want to go out and be in a certain space, and you can go out and find out who the key influencers are, which is not top, you know, top social media people, top doctors, top veterinarians, top hairstylists, whatever. You can even put on Facebook, because anymore, Google is a better search for what's on Facebook than even Facebook is to some degree, because the way they change their graphs and how they're doing the search. So just go to Google and do it, and then go to their pages. And a lot of those people just like their page. I mean, obviously you know to do that. But then if you want to compare your business, even if you have no business, right? But, you know, compare what your business is, or even compare one comparator to another. You could use what's Agora Pulse is. I think it's called Agora Pulse Barometer. And it's a great tool that shows you exactly, gives you a scorecard, basically how you're doing, what they're doing, the reach, engagement, people talking about it. And I know you're thinking, oh, I already get that on Facebook. No, it compares them. It's amazing. You really have to try it out. Then there's the Karma. What was it? We were talking about that because
Fan page Karma.
Yeah, Fan page Karma. That's another one that we use. It's just my team uses it a lot for me because I have a firm and I have 10 or 15 people working for me at any given point, and that's one that we use for sure. We definitely go through that one. That one seems to be very popular. And then there's another one that Mark just did, and I wrote it down here for you guys today, and you guys may have already used it. Maybe I'm late to the party, but I really like it, and I had Mark give it to me because it gives you a ton of detail, and it is called Likealizer, and it's Likealyzer. And I really like it because it gives you a rating out of 100. And then it gives you a ton of details, like the page information. It'll give you post by page. It'll go through the analysis of the post on your page and suggest improvements based on, it'll tell you when you should be posting, all this stuff. It's a really, really great tool. And we just started using it, so I'm sorry I'm not more familiar with it. But these are tools you should check out for yourself because they're really great, and most of them have like a free 7-day trial on them, so you don't even have to commit to them.
Exactly. You
and when I do that,
trial and find out your info, and then.
Yeah, and so what you do there is like, you're finding out how you're doing, but you're also finding out what your competition's doing, right? And so a lot of people, when they're doing their Facebook, they're pulling stuff from their posts, and now, why do you think, you can go to their blog and they can have 100 posts, but if they're promoting X, Y, and Z on Facebook, there's a reason, right? So you have to kind of then use some sort of assessment on your own part of trying to figure out, well, you know what, that makes sense because I'm going after new moms, and she has a ton of articles on how to, feed your baby or your nutrients. Wow, what a great idea for a cookbook. What a great idea for a baby book. I mean, you can have ideas like that. And when you're trying to write a book, I always tell people, if you could think of a book on Amazon as an ebook, as 10 blog posts, you would have an ebook, right? If you just came out, so you have the 1,000-word posts, find the 10 best titles out there you can around your subject, tweak them, and then pick those your chapters, and then write to them. I mean, that is the easiest way. And guess what you could do? You were talking about content creation. So here's the cool thing. Let's say I want to write a book on how to rock Facebook, right? I could create a 10-post series of 1,000 epic posts is what I call them, 1,000 to 1,500 words. And you can always do a snippet at the top if you want to, like notes of it. These are the highlight points, and here's the article. I suggest always doing a 30-second video. If you notice on my blog, I don't do them. There's a good reason for that. I don't like to put my makeup on and do my hair. So I should do them. I'm missing an opportunity, but you should if you can. The perfect way, and get ready, write this down. You're going to want to write this down because if you do it, you will see results, and you will love me, and you'll write me a post at my blog, comment, and tell me how awesome I am. Okay? That's our deal. Deal? Okay. So simple. Some of you guys say, oh, that's so simple. And then I'm going to ask you, but are you doing it? And when you tell me no, I'm going to say, grab your pencil, grab your paper, write it down, because you're not doing it. So if it's so simple, you should be doing it, right? Okay. 10 posts. So let's just say you always want to write a book, but you know you're never going to do it. Fine. 10 posts, we can all do that. Even if you hire someone, if you hire someone to write your book, they're going to charge you thousands of dollars. If you hire someone to write a 1,000-word blog, but even a good person might charge you 200, right? I mean, literally, you could spend $200 and have a really good blog post written. So have your blog post written, come up with 10 killer headlines, write your things. Maybe it takes you 10 weeks. Maybe for somebody it takes you 10 months. I don't care. Okay? You do one a month. Okay? I'm going to rock this. With each one, you're going to do a video that says, hey, today I'm going to be talking about blah, 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 blah. If you're like me, you don't want to put your makeup on, all this stuff, then do a little PowerPoint thing. Big deal. 5 slides. These are the 5 points I'm going to cover. Make it less than a minute. Okay, just do yourself a favor. No one wants to hear about what you're going to talk about for 10 minutes. So do yourself there. Do your little YouTube thing. Put it at YouTube, right? Because you're going to link there because that's going to help you get some juice. So now you have 10 videos at the end of this. You have 10 blog posts at the end of this. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I mention that for your post you need to have an image? You should have an image, something compelling that at least it with maybe a caption. So you create that. Now you have to, it's not hard to grab an image, people. Don't steal. Go to Shutterstock. It's really cheap to do it. 25 free downloads a day. Just do not steal content. It's terrible. So put your picture there. Oh, and then just put it over at Pinterest. Put a board, top ways to rock your fan base, and then put your image there and make sure you have a call to action. Lead them back to the blog post. Right? So they click the image, they go back to your post. So at the end of the day, you now have 10 images that you've created. So you have a little board of Pinterest going. You should build off of that if you're being really industrious, but I'm talking bare minimum. You have 10 blog posts, and you have 10 videos. So then you take your 10 blog posts, hand them off to someone, pay them $400 or $500, $1,000, whatever, do it yourself, put them together. Amazon doesn't care. Put it together in an ebook. Just put the post as is in the ebook if you want to, and put that up at Amazon. Boom, you have a book. You have if you don't want to put it at Amazon, you have now a lead magnet. Hey, all my posts aggregate together, get it free, sign up right now. These are the best of Facebook. You don't have to say, if you dig through my blog long enough, you'll find them. You don't have to say that. You just say, here it is. And at the end of the day, you are done. I don't care what your subject is, you are done, and you have 10 months of content, 10 weeks of content, 10 days of content. Anybody can do what I just said. Anybody can do what I just said. You can put the videos at Facebook to promote your post. You can put the SlideShare, the slide I talked about, like creating the slides. You can put it at slideshare.net, which is a wonderful place to put content. Very underutilized by the average bear. Go to it. You want ideas on content? Go to slideshare.net. You'll learn so much more because 90% of people are visual learners. Go there about any subject you want. I do all my research there. Love it.
I love slideshare.net.
I do too, and most people, it's so underutilized, And that's just a really simple way to actually, at the end of the day, if you did what I said, you'd have more done than you have right now. And it's not hard what I just said. And you just have a little book at the end. Little ebook you give away free. You want to try and sell it for 99 cents, $1 or something on Amazon, you could. I mean, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to create content for yourself. And if that's your strategy, you could do it all the time.
Well, and if you do that, put it up on Amazon for, say, $3, and then you can offer it for free on your blog, or put it up for Amazon for $7, and they can say, hey, this is on Amazon for $7. You can get it free for here. Boom.
Yes. And there's different rules that Amazon has about that, and they change them constantly. And it used to be you just have it free somewhere, and then they slash it and make it free, and then that was really cool for you. You can get it in the Prime membership, where we do some real ninja stuff, where we put it, so it's every day it's being offered for free, because all you're trying to do is link back to your blog, right? Isn't that what you're really trying to do? Because seriously, unless you're the next Stephen King, you're not going to make a ton of money directly off book sales. I mean, you know what I mean? That's not where the money is. We all know where the money is. It's in the consulting and the average things and the products. If you have a brand new barbecue sauce, then by God, you better be. The number one thing on Amazon is the downloads or recipe stuff. So just if you have a great recipe, barbecue sauce, then you should have a recipe book on 10 ways to rock barbecue. And just go get it. Check. You don't have to be Betty Crocker to get 10 recipes that you just put up there and then use your sauce instead of regular old boring sauce. So, if you're a hairstylist, if you're a hair salon, why wouldn't you put together 10 cutest kid cuts, right? Because why wouldn't you want a kid to come in? You want a kid to come in, right? Because he probably has a brother or sister, and he has a mom and a dad. You can get the mom in. That's harder. But getting her in for a kid and offering some cool thing, I always tell salon owners that's where you should be doing. Same with restaurant owners, best etiquette at a restaurant, you put together a little book that makes people, how to have a first date at your restaurant or something like that. There's different things you could do that's applicable to tie into the market that you're trying to, entice.
A lot of great tips there. Do you have any other, before I kind of steer away from this, do you have any other little content hacks or content creation tips that you like? Because the Amazon one I would have never thought to ask you about, and I thought that one was great. So I'm wondering if there's anything else you have.
The other things that I like to do is our big thing that we do is we just grab images and we put quotes on them and then we tie it back to the blog, and that's something that sounds really simple, but it really works great. I mean, if you can't do anything else, I mean, if you just can't do anything else, then just go grab your picture. Heck, you could even throw it in PowerPoint or Keynote, slap a slogan on it, an inspiration thing, and put it out on your Facebook page. And so every day people, it's what we did with Wendy Diamond's page. She has over 150,000 fans right now. She's a partner in my dog food company, and she gets over 3,000 likes, and she just puts tons of photos up there, like tons of dog photos. Now, we're not all lucky enough to be in the dog niche, okay, because that's a relatively easy way to get people in. Car people put dogs in there, diaper people put dogs, but there are things that people are relevant to them. So if you're selling real estate, you don't put pictures of houses in there. You think, okay, well, I want people to be inspirational. Like, let's put cool vacation photos. Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about freedom. Let's talk about, what is the thing that your person wants? What's freedom? I want to feel better. If they want to lose weight, put cool pictures of beaches and put cool pictures of fit women doing yoga poses and things like that inspire them, and they're going to like it because they're like, oh, yeah, I want to look like that. Oh, yeah, I like that, and that's just to get them engaged with your brand. That's the most important part, is getting them engaged with your brand to start social media.
Gotcha. Now, also with the promotion of your content, so kind of a two-sided question here, maybe three-pronged. I know with Social Caffeine, you get a lot of tweets, and I think this is going to kind of make sense because you're pretty heavy on Twitter. I also wonder with your clients, is there something you might do a bit differently, and if you do any kind of paid promotion strategies?
So I, for Social Caffeine, do no paid method. I have a good group of people that I'm with at Triberr, Triberr. Dino is a wonderful man. He started that in the beginning. We talked about this, I think. I'm really good at getting there first. So you get there first, and the other people that are there first, and Robert Scoble doesn't have anyone to talk to, and Mari Smith's looking for a friend. I mean, there's no one there, and so we all kind of get together, and so we get connected, and then it's just integrated, right? So Triberr is one way that I have seen getting a lot of people seeing my content and sharing it. There's two other things. Now, I don't do these other two things for Social Caffeine, but we have done it for some Kickstarter campaigns and other things. You may have heard of it, called Thunderclap. I don't know if you've used Thunderclap yet, with 2 P's. Thunderclap's awesome. So if you have a promotion, Thunderclap is simple. Might mess it up a little bit on my description, but just go there. It's simple, simple, simple. Like my friend Sean, we're promoting his Kickstarter campaign. It's how to watch him write a book. He's trying to raise $20,000. He's already at $32,000. It's amazing what he's done. Okay, won't even talk about that. But he has over 1 million reach. So you reach out to friends. 500 people said yes, and you just say support with Twitter, support with Facebook. Just like crowdfunding, you have to set a goal for how many people you want to get, right? So you set your goal. And then if you hit your goal, it goes live. So what that means is, let's just say I wrote a new book. No, I don't have a book coming out. They're wondering why I'm here if I don't have anything to sell. I know it. So just because I like these guys, that's why. So anyway, so let's say I had a brand new book coming out, How to Ride Your Horse Better Than You Ever Thought Possible. That's my passion, horses. So let's say I put it out there and I got my friends to do it and I hit my goal. All I do is on the day I set to go live tomorrow, all those people would tweet it out. I don't have to call a friend. I don't have to beg them. I don't have to email them. I don't have to hope they do it. Don't forget, it's set up. They've hit support, and on October, tomorrow at 7 p.m., everyone's going live. So my friend Sean will have over 1 million people hitting out a link on Twitter, Facebook, saying go sign up for his Kickstarter. Now, we don't have the results yet to see how it worked, but we also used it for the California Women's Conference. So, and again, just getting people to register and find out about it. So that's one really cool one that you guys could try to use. I think it's been fantastic in theory.
It's like
and then the other one,
social bomb.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, my friend Novus Vivek, he created Bottlenose. You guys should check it out. Bottlenose. There's a free version, and it's awesome. And it basically shows you the keywords and then all the content around it. So, like, if people are talking about this keyword, there's other topics. It analyzes topics and it analyzes attention, because it's not necessarily about clout, right? Because I could be very influential, but how much attention can I get what you want me to get? it's not the same. Influence and attention are not the same. There's people that, the guy that shot his daughter's laptop on Facebook, he didn't have any influence, but he sure got a lot of attention because it was something that went viral. So that's what Thunderclap's about. It's about getting your people together, boom, and having it go out. So very cool. And then another one that I'm going to start using for one of my clients called Gaggle AMP. Gaggle, G-A-G-G-A-M-P. Have you used it? G-A-G-G.
I've not even heard of it.
Okay, check it out. Totally cool in theory. Again, I like to say, because I don't like when people act like things are awesome if they haven't really nailed it, right? Like you and I were talking about that, testing things before saying they're awesome. And we have a brewer room, right, that we're in, and people talk about this.
I have seen this. I very, very recently saw this.
Okay, so I think it's totally awesome. So basically the same concept of Thunderclap, only Thunderclap means you have to meet a metric and then you can hit a thing, okay, and send it out. Gaggle is where me, you, Lois, everybody in War Room can get together, put our stuff in there, and agree that, hey, anything you write I'm going to promote. Now, I have the ability to not promote it, right? Like I can look at it and not do it, but it really is more automatic, and it's like, for a lot of people, like I always reshare certain people's stuff because I love it. I love what they write, so I'm almost always going to do it. So that's what this does. So you should check it out because especially if you have a business like a salon, okay, I'm just saying you've got 10 or 15 women and even some clients that love you, want to help promote you, you just say, hey, just go sign up for me. So whenever I have a special promotion, would you mind sharing it with your friends? Most people don't mind. Really, unless it's family, they don't mind. Like, why would I mind giving my friend an opportunity to save 20% off her haircut? Oh, that's so terrible. But if it's relevant, so that's why it has to be friend-to-friend connection, right? This isn't something you put an ad, hey, join my Gaggle amp. I mean, you basically go like to my employees who don't have time to read everything I do and retweet me all the time. All of a sudden, guys, you have 10, 15 people retweeting you all the time, reposting your Facebooks. They don't have to think about it. It's happening. That could really impact you if you're someone who feels like you're talking to your mom and your daughter on Facebook.
No, I think that's pretty powerful. I really like Gaggle Amp for that side. I don't see it on the customer side quite as much, but I think on the employee side, if you have 10 to 15 people, or even for these larger companies, say you have 50 people at your company and a blog post goes out, well, Steve in IT is probably never going to read the blog post, but he might tweet about it, and then it builds that buzz easily. And if you wanted to, you can make it a requirement, a loose requirement at your,
yes, you can. Business. And my dad has over 1,000 employees at his company. He does in the health insurance business. How powerful would that be?
Yeah.
Procter & Gamble, having 100,000 employees. How powerful would that be when it comes to just not making it? That's where you have to be careful about
you do one a month or something like that. You figure it out, but.
Oh, right. And so, but people we're talking to right now, I'm talking about the way I look at it. You're a writer. You have a bunch of friends that support your book. They'd love to sign up and help you promote this, but they don't really know how. I look at it for someone who has a new business that they're coming out with, and they have friends that, hey, you don't have time to email all your friends and say, tweet me today, but if you sign up for this and just an alert comes up, you're like, oh, yeah, sure, boom. And then it takes away from that moment of calling and begging and pleading, like my page, whatever, and it gives people an opportunity to participate, and you just have to be selective with who those people are. And but for me, I always tell people, I partner with a person that does my Facebook advertising for my clients. So I do the strategy around the ads and what I want them to do and the funnels that they go into, because that's so important, right? The funnels are so important. You can have the best ad campaigns, you can spend the most money, and if it goes to a leaky bucket, dude, the water's on the floor and you have wasted your money. And what I find the biggest problem people have is where the traffic's going. And the fact that, here's a tip for you, that when you do an ad for Facebook, even if it's a link, and you go off Facebook, and you're saying, oh, you've got to find out this way that, let's just make up something where you've got to get this new way to lose weight, 30 days to lose weight or whatever, feel great. And it's the greatest thing. It's based on the science of having, it's on Dr. Oz, and it's a great science of Garcinia or whatever, and you've got to hear about this plant. And you go to it, and it's just a big ad for a bottle of Garcinia, right? There's no tips on how it works. I have to dig for it, frequently asked questions. Really, ideally, you send them to a page where the top part of it's like a blog post, just short, 400 words, right? Good for SEO too. Put it in there, and then have your ad at the end, or a call to action to buy it, which may sound like some people, well, that's an oxymoron, you're not going direct to the buy. you asked them at Facebook. I mean, people were hanging out, having a good time. They weren't asking to
Interruption
buy
marketing.
anything. So you gotta, that's appropriate for Facebook, and that's what's working. So we can argue about it, but I actually know that's what's working. So, and I think that's super important. Hey, I have to grab my charger right there because my computer's. I'm sorry. I just have to take
No
a
worries.
little
No worries.
2-second break. How impressive! I should have had it plugged in. I moved my computer for the lighting and unplugged my. That was dumb. Okay.
No, it would have only looked bad if your computer had died.
It would have only looked bad. See, right now it just looks like I'm a good crisis
No.
manager. I'm a good crisis
Now
manager.
you're smart. You're on top of things. You're proactive.
I was
So
like, watch it.
with any of your clients, I'm curious though. Obviously, I'm sure you've done kind of paid Facebook ads, but have you done any kind of paid content promotion? Whether on Twitter or Facebook or any of these other things or not?
When you say paid content promotion, are you saying like earn media, where I buy media to try things, or if I'm actually sold a product via social media? I'm sorry, I just want to make clear.
I mean more so less, not like direct response for ads, but I'm saying for like more of a strict content piece. So they publish a blog post or an infographic or a video even. So less of an opt-in or a lead magnet or tripwire or anything like that. More of just like a pure content piece. I'm curious if you've done any paid promotion strategies with those or not.
No, we haven't. Our paid, my clients that do Facebook advertising typically come from the direct response world, where they're doing other things like direct mail, and that's working, and they feel like they're missing the opportunity on social media. So we're always trying to. So there's a paid budget there to drive traffic to a page where you could actually buy the product. I've done paid traffic for people like trying to sell a book, but not paid traffic just for, and we did paid traffic to the Kickstarter campaign, and it didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work. Doing paid traffic to ask people to be, didn't work for us, and I feel like that makes sense. I didn't feel like also maybe the premiums we had that they got for the price were maybe as conducive to Facebook as they could have been. But no, I haven't done as much of the paid, but that you're just kind of going philosophy thing for me. So I'm just like, good content. You should promote your blog, promote your posts, and you can do that for your Facebook ads. I just always have it tied to where maybe an email capture. But at the end of the day, they're really trying to sell something. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm answering the question correctly because maybe I'm not, I'm missing, it's going over my head.
No,
it's too smart for me.
Well, I'm just curious. It's well, even content marketing, has kind of become its own native ad strategy, and the people that do it better, you'll have a blog post and it's 7 different ways you can use this better, and one of the ways is directly related to your product.
Okay.
Those kind of things.
Yeah.
So it all circles back. But I was curious if you'd seen anything with content.
We do more for our clients. I'm just being honest. Do I think that works? Yes, we do a lot for our clients, like SEO strategies. We do big, so Pick the Brain was a big client of mine. They had 150,000 page views a month. They went to over 1 million a month in less than about 6 months, and it was from doing. We did a 90 days free thing. So you signed up for it, and every day you got a post and an image, and it was the power of build your self-confidence, and it was free for 90 days, and we didn't have anything paid, and we didn't do any paid traffic, but we didn't have to because they had an audience, right? So we just basically did a better job of marketing the audience, and what we did was what people miss is, and I think Derek Halpern does it great on his blog, and was it Triggered? What is it? Social Triggers. Social Triggers. Excellent blog. He basically says, what does your blog do? What do you want it to do? And for him, he wants to collect an email. That's what he wants to do. He's going to sell you his stuff in the emails. He's not going to sell it to you from a sidebar and confuse you. He just wants to give you 55 reasons to give you his email, and that's it. So in that particular case, I get hired a lot to get people to get traffic to convert into emails, and then using the emails to do the selling. So from that perspective, I work more SEO stuff to do that, but I believe that. Like, we've tried some boosting the posts. I think you and I talked about that. I don't know if it was offline or on this call, but it didn't work great. Boosting posts didn't work great. Sponsors posts work pretty good to get people to get some traffic to the blog, and we have done that.
Them out, actually.
Yeah.
Well, they've kind of switched it. You can still kind of do sponsored posts, but they're not. I don't know.
They're not really like they used to be, though.
Yeah.
Right. So, but, and that would be to drive traffic. So we've used paid traffic that way to drive traffic to the blog itself. And, yeah, to your point, done that via sponsored posts, but that's it. The boost post didn't work. I mean, it just didn't work. So,
Well, I know for a little while there was supposed to be a hack that was kind of like if you boosted a post, then it would get more natural traffic. So that's one of those that's still out for debate. From what we've seen, it wasn't worth it, but different strokes for different folks, I imagine. Now,
yeah, I
I'm
think
curious.
that.
Huh?
I should focus more on that, though, on it's just not how, it's not because I wouldn't do it, it's just not what my clients hire me for usually. A lot of times it's that a lot of clients I have is they actually are getting traffic and they're not getting conversions. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really a traffic issue as much as it's a relevance issue, if you will, and like, are they doing a good job with their content strategy? Are they really maximizing the traffic that they're getting? Are they getting their email address? Are they really directing their attention to take action, to buy something, do something? So, because I'm sitting there thinking like, well, why wouldn't I? That's a really, of course I would do it. Why am I not doing it? It's really
that's not the part that you need to focus on, because they
yeah,
have that. They need this piece more.
Yeah. But I have a new client that we just did a kickoff meeting for, and we will be doing some paid stuff because he doesn't have any traffic on his blog, so he's going to have to. I mean, he doesn't have any traffic. I mean, that's why I tell people, I was like, that's my other thing, not to be, my other thing I tell people from stage, especially if I'm speaking, is I say about social media, because I'm a direct response girl, right? I'm a direct mail girl. I know a lot about TV, direct mail, radio, and that works, right? Direct mail works. We've raised over $3 billion for disabled American veterans, close to $4 billion over the last 20 years, $5 at a time through the mail. Really starting to do some paid TV this year, but never done any of that. So I know it works. And we've done a ton of other things I could talk about, and I won't because this is about online stuff. Mm-hmm. But the point is that when you look at it from the perspective of what we want to be doing is I kind of lost my train of thought. Wow, I'm really blowing this. I mean, at least I'm human. I'm like, what was I talking about?
No, you're fine.
Help me.
we were just discussing more so just paid promotion of content compared to promotion of
but I had a really good point. I had a really good point there and all that, because I wanted to talk about, what I know works and coming to that, but I don't know where I was going with it. But, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is just, like you said, getting traffic. And, I know. I tell people, I tell people, what do I? So I always tell people, I don't know. No, I tell people that, hey, if you needed a surgery, what would you really do? I mean, would you really go on Facebook and ask your friends for money, or would you pick up the phone and call them? Would you walk over to their business and talk to them? Would you get a one-to-one conversation? I mean, that's what you would do. I mean, if you only had 24 hours to get $10,000, I'm sorry. And you might throw something out on Facebook. I mean, honestly, probably today you would. But you'd probably call your dad, drive to your neighbors, go to your church. I mean, and so that's what I want people to think about. Like, when you're trying to build your business, just throwing it out there on Facebook, it's not how you'd save your own life, so why is it how you'd save your business? It isn't. So you have to figure out what your sales opportunity is, what you're trying to really do, and maybe it's to get them on the phone, right? Maybe it's to, to do a consultation. Maybe it's somehow to create that conversation that's offline, because those are the most powerful conversations. If I said to you, hey, I could introduce you to Bill Gates, and you guys can email back and forth, or you can have a 5-minute breakfast meeting with him, which would you pick? Really? Exactly. You would pick breakfast, because you're hoping in 5 minutes you can wow him and get another 15, and then you get an hour, and then he'll become your best friend. You'll golf, and he'll come to your kids' weddings. Whatever thing people think, that's what they want. And so that's what I'm always telling people is, like, if you think about social media like you think about real life, it's how can you get that one-on-one conversation, because it's really the only way you're going to sell anyone anything is the perception that you're having a one-on-one conversation, like the podcast when you were talking about people in the back seat. If it sounds any more fake than that, you don't want to listen to it.
No. I mean, and right? That's in a big part, it's interesting because you see some of these really busy, important people. Mark Cuban gets brought up a lot, who always replies to emails, even from random people. He's always replying to emails, and he replies quickly. And that's a big thing, too. If you get comments on your blog, you're getting emails, you need to respond to these people. You need to talk to these people. And I know Joe Troy talked about it, and I've talked about it a little bit, but I don't want to, talk too much, but in similar sense, one of the things they did that made a lot more money for their business was for shopping cart abandons. They would basically send them, a text and an email and say, hey, how can we help you? And they would call them on the phone, and they'd say, hey, we noticed you're trying to check out and you had a problem. How can we help you? and that I don't even know the numbers it did, but
It's crazy.
really boosted the revenue and the bottom line, because it's one of those things. A lot of people are ready to make a sale or make a purchase, make a decision, but they just need to talk to someone for a second.
That's why there's two things as a small entrepreneur, a small business owner, you should have on your blog that are not expensive. Crazy Egg, which you've probably talked about before, maybe. The Crazy Egg, which you can tell where people are doing a heat map, shows them where you're losing them, where they're confused. I mean, tells you a lot. The Crazy Egg is a really, really good one. And then the second one that you probably don't know about, it's my friend's company, actually. It's been around for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And it's being sold through, like, to UPS, who's then using it for their people. But called Live Chime. Okay, this is a phenomenal. You have to get it. It's lifetime. I swear it's like $5 a month. I don't even know what it is. But instead of having to have that live chat on your blog, because you don't really have a person in your office can sit there and live chat it up with people, right? But live chat, let me tell you, chat works. Chat works. There's so much sales done for chat. It's called Live Chime. So it looks like you have live chat. Here's the cool part. You're just a person. You're just me. You got no one. I actually have a company of people, but you're someone who doesn't have anybody working for you. Maybe one other person part time, and you have this on your blog, live chat, which gets people to put a question in, talk to you. Guess what it does? It routes it to your phone. So if you're not at your computer, it can route to your phone. If you have a Craigslist ad, you can have it's a text link. You guys, you can put it in your emails. Chat with me right now, and it can be a chat link, and they click on it, and they send you text, and it goes actually to your phone or whatever device is in your round tree. Super easy to use. You can use it on your Facebook, when you post something, because it's just the link. You can put your Facebook link in your ads. Ask me right now how you can become the next, Martha Stewart, and they can click that link, and it actually they're having a conversation with you. It is super, super cool, and especially for people on your website that maybe sell consulting or something like that, and people do have questions, and you aren't sitting at your computer, or you're in a meeting or whatever, and you're mobile, and you can answer it, especially if you have global traffic, right, where the time change is different and stuff like that. It can be really, really cool.
Or if you're a small business owner, maybe you're doing some things with the website because you're advanced and you're awesome, but you can't just sit in front of the computer all day. Or even for me, I know I try not to sit in my email all day. I try not to sit on Facebook all day. So if you do have this one spot where you can watch over it, your phone, what have you, it makes it easier to kind of respond and still get that quick engagement. That's really cool. I actually have not heard of that one.
You got to check it out because people really, really like it, and it's got this link, and you can click on it, and it can be anywhere you want to put it. And the reason I talk about it is because here's the thing, okay? It takes 7 touches for people to buy from you on average. And that's why I love Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff. You don't have to see everything. Like you don't have to email someone 7 times. You could talk to them twice on Twitter. They could see 2 of your posts at Facebook, maybe see 1 of your ads. That's counted as a touch. And in this particular case, a lot of people aren't ready to get on the phone with you. But as you and I both know, if they get on the phone with you, I mean, it's a good sign that you're going to get something from them because it's their time. But right before they get on the phone, there's that process where they just have a question. And they don't want to email it, right, because they don't want you to have their email address or whatever. So this is a non-invasive way for them to click a chat up and just ask a really quick question. Hey, is your product for business owners that have 5 people or less? Yes, just something like that. And it's just interesting for those of you who've always wanted. You should try it. It's a free trial too. I mean, I think there's a free trial on it, but it just depends on your business. But I just want to add that out there because I think it's an important piece to people's success is the ability to chat with people. I think it's important.
No, I mean that's something that's been huge for us with some of our launches and some of the things we've done, and Joe and those guys over at Web1 are really big on is they have a live chat, they have phone number, like all these things, and customers are blown away because they're like, I actually get someone on the phone.
And so people are like, oh, why just use Skype? Really keep your Skype open. I mean, the bandwidth. You really just, if you're sitting at your computer all day, you're not getting anything. So I like it just from the perspective is you can put in your email links. Like it's just a link in your email chat now to if you want to ask any questions, ask us right now just here in the chat, and they click right there, and then you can answer them. And because it just routes to and then you can have it to other people. So if you don't answer within a certain amount of time, it round trees to someone else. It's really cool. Now I don't want to beat a dead horse over it. It's just something that's kind of different and people aren't using, and mobile is growing and growing and growing and growing, and people are getting much more comfortable with texting everywhere, everything now. I don't even want to call people because I don't want to make small talk. I just want to get my answer. So, and I'm not alone. So you're not alone. There's other people feel the same way.
Well, Lori, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got to run. I'm sure we'll probably be doing this again shortly, and we'll probably be talking after this. If people want to reach out to you, I'm assuming LoriRTaylor.com, probably the best way. They can read some of your blogs, some of your blog posts, and get some more of your wonderful content.
Yep, and I'm Lori R. Taylor on Twitter.
Gotcha. She's actually very active on Twitter. We didn't get a chance to dive into it, but she's got 65,000 followers, and she's done 44,000 tweets, which is a lot. All right. Take care, Lori. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks.